Hey there, it's Charles, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to add groups and how to add students to your Flangoo account. So let's get started. Starting from my login screen, I can get to my students by either clicking on my account and going to Manage Students, or up along the top here, I can click on the button that says Students. This will bring me to my Manage Students page. Because this is a brand new account, you'll notice I don't have any classes and I don't have any students added yet. I can see here along the top, I have added 0 out of my total 180 student accounts that are allowed. So we're starting from scratch here. Before I can add any students, I have to add at least one class group. So I start by clicking on this green button here and adding my first class group. So we'll call this my Spanish 1 first hour. Save. There we go. I have my first class. Now I can start adding students, or I can continue adding more class groups by clicking on the green button again. I can honestly add as many of these as I want. So we'll do a Spanish 2 third hour and save class. Once you have your class groups set up, it is time to start adding your students. And that's done here with the Add Students button. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either have your students sign themselves up, or you can add your students in manually. If you're going to add your students in manually, it'll bring you to this screen. You'll add a first name and a last name and select which period they're in. So this will be for Han Solo, who's in my first hour. Add student. There's my student who's been added. There's their login code. And we saw from our sign up screen that the password is change me, which obviously means that that student's going to need to log in and change their password. Now, if you don't want to add all of these yourself, you can come here to have the students sign themselves up, which I highly recommend. Clicking that brings you to this page where you can copy your link just by clicking that button, and then you can send this link to your students. The way it's set up right now is students get to decide which class they're in. You don't have to do that. You can select it for them. So I'll say Spanish 1, and you'll see it slightly changed my link. So I'll copy that, and now I can send this link to just my Spanish 1 students. And I'll select third hour, copy that link, and now I can send this link to my third hour Spanish 2 students. And I know that because they're using this link, it's going to drop them automatically into the right class. Let's go back to my Spanish 1. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to show you what this looks like from a student's perspective. So as a student, I've clicked on the link you sent me and it's brought me to this page. Because we sent it specifically for our Spanish 1 first hour, you can see that's been selected here at the top, and clicking on that does absolutely nothing. So here you can see I have two ways that I can sign up, either using my sign up with Google, which will give me a single sign-on, or I can simply add in my first and last name and give myself a password. My name is Ray Palpatine, and my password, I'll give myself a simple password and register. As a student, the first time that you log in, you're going to be presented with this screen that welcomes you to Flangoo and then gives you your login code. Make sure your student copies down this login code. One of the ways I've recommended is I've asked students to simply take out their smartphones and just take a picture of it, or they can write it down, put it on Notepad, however it is that they're going to remember their login code. This code acts like the student's user ID. They're going to need both their login code and their password in order to log back into Flangoo later. Now, the reason why it's giving every student a login code like this is because Flangoo does not keep track of personal student information or data, which includes their email addresses. So in order to keep all of the students separate, it has to assign them their own unique login code. Once your student has their login code saved and neatly tucked away someplace, they can click the button, I have written these down in a safe place. That's it, they are now logged into Flangoo. Coming back to my student list, I can now see my newest student has been added. I can see their login code in case they forget their login code. Spoiler alert, they're probably going to forget their login code. And I can see which period they have been added to, as well as how much time they're spending in Flangoo. This is keeping track of how much time they're spending in Flangoo this week. And this is how much time they've spent in Flangoo in total since the account was created. Now, the weekly logged time resets every Sunday. So if you are keeping track of that and you happen to miss it, you can always go back to any previous week by clicking on the little calendar up here and simply selecting any previous week. And here under Last Seen, I can see the last time this student logged into their Flangoo account. Let's click on Manage for this student. Here I can see their reading history, so I'll be able to keep track of which books they're reading, how far they've gotten in those books, and how much time they've been spending in each individual book, as well as their student grades. And I'm going to get a lot more into all of that in different videos, so make sure you look for those. Here along the left is where I can make changes and updates to that student. I can change the name if I need to, because they spell their name wrong. It happens. I can also move them to a different class period in case they signed up under the wrong class or if they're moving. And I can update their password. An important note about student passwords: if they forget their password, there is no feature that's going to allow them to retrieve that password automatically. They're going to have to ask you to do it for them. And again, the reason is because Flangoo is not keeping track of any personal student information, so it doesn't have a way to send them this information. Fortunately, it's really easy. You simply come here under Update Password for that student and change it to something simple, like 12345, or maybe the password is password. It's going to be something simple that the student is for sure going to remember so that they can get back into their account. And once they've logged into their account, they can then go into their settings and change their password back to anything that's going to be more personal to them that they're going to remember. In the next video, I'm going to get more into how to transfer your students, how to delete students, and how to delete entire classes. So be sure to watch for that. So that's the basics for how to add new classes and add new students to your Flangoo account. I hope this information was helpful. If you have any questions or if you need us to explain anything further, you can always reach out to us at flangoo@teachersdiscovery.com or by clicking on the support button in your account. My name is Charles. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
Flangoo.com